Welcome to Real Talk TV. My name is Darryl Buchannan. I'm your host. Before we begin the show, I'd like to say thanks to all the supporters. Thanks for all you guys that are sharing it, that you guys are getting people to subscribe. I appreciate it. We're trying to keep these shows going on, but I do need your help in building this platform, and so we can make it available and make this information available to more people. Today I got a very special guest. I know this man, and I just see the success in his life, successful living, and I know him before that, so it's just very important for me to bring him on the show so he can talk about his life, how it was before, how it is now, and I'm hoping that in the middle, in between those 2 points, that he'll be able to provide information to those that are trying to transition into successful living. Without further ado, let me introduce Mike Earielo, right?
Yep.
Okay, Mike, thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me, D.
Like I said, I got a lot of respect for you, a lot of respect for your transition and to see the longevity and the humility that I see in you, man. Those things are important. A lot of times we see people a lot of time, get a lot of clean time, and get successful, and they're not humble. So I appreciate that. But can you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you and the show. I think you're having an amazing run here. I really respect what you're doing here because we need to get that positivity out to the folks and give that hope and, let them know the other side of recovery, So my name is Michael Earielo, 52 years old. I'll be 53 coming up in a couple of months, so in February. I'm from Worcester, Mass, born and raised. I was born on this street, and Worcester is a very notorious street. It's called Kilby Street. It's so notorious that they changed the name of the street. So now it's called the Boys and Girls Club Way because they end up building a boys club down at the end of the block. Wow. But back in the day, it was a very notorious game for gangs and drugs and stuff like that. So that's where I was raised at in Worcester.
So that was your environment?
That was my environment, man. From a very early age, I was surrounded with drugs, violence, that environment where families want to, shelter their children from, It was the opposite for me. I was witnessing all that, and I am a product of my environment.
Cool.
Or I was a product of my environment.
There it is, yeah. That Kilby, I heard a lot about the Kilby. I remember doing times, guys would come in, and if another guy, I remember one specific incident, a kid came in to the jail, and he was wearing Adidas. Yeah. And dudes was all over him. It's Adidas. I guess that's their logo. Yeah. Did you participate in any gang?
Oh yeah, man. I was one of the co-founders of the gang. It started, with a and we didn't sit down and say, yo, we're gonna become a gang. It really started off as, a few brothers, kids from the neighborhood, went to school with each other and just became a close-knit, brotherhood. And then we got involved in the drug trade. And as you know, the drug trade brings a lot of violence. So, we was just, whoever came down to our block, to try to sell, we would beat them up and, you can't sell here. We got into shootouts and stabbings, and every time that, something occurred like that, the newspaper would write the Kilby Street Posse, or the police would say, oh, it's the Kilby Boys.
They named you.
Yeah, so they started calling us a gang, right? And, okay, we're a gang, yeah, so we'll live up to that expectation of being a gang. You want us to call us a gang, we're going to be a gang, and we'll show you what a gang looks like. And it just took off from there, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you was in it for a while. When did you exit?
Man,
I know that when we get involved in these things, we still have friends tied to it. And what I mean, exit, I know we probably still have friends tied.
Yeah.
But exit, when you stop playing?
I stopped playing that gang thing when I became addicted to drugs.
Okay.
I was at one time, I don't know, early on in life, I was somewhat a very successful drug dealer. And then I became my best customer.
That's what I mentioned.
Yeah, right. So in the early 80s, man, when cocaine really was like, it was all over TV, Scarface and Miami Vice and, all this stuff, that was the thing. The 80s was all about the cocaine era. And I was very successful then with the cocaine, and then I got introduced to crack cocaine, and it was another beast, man.
It's another level.
And like I said, I became my own. I became a hustler to a customer.
Yeah.
And became my best customer. I couldn't sell no more product because I was doing it all.
Yeah.
So.
I understand that. When did you first start? So you experienced using drugs within the gang? Was it before you got it? I mean, was there any?
Yeah, man. I mean, I come from my father was a real big drug dealer. Heroin. Very well known in Worcester and Massachusetts in the jail systems. Very well known for, selling drugs. And unfortunately, he also became his best customer as well. He started doing more than he was selling, but so I've been around that. I was, idolizing my dad. I would hear stories, although he was not in my life as a father because, he was in and out of prison. He didn't know how to love himself, so how can he love me?
Yeah.
That kind of situation. I only realized that and forgave him when I became an addict.
You gotta understand.
I understood. Like, it wasn't that he didn't love me. It's just that he didn't know how to show love and be a parent because he had this.
That takes all the love. That disease makes it.
So. But he was very, so I idolized him, and, I remember this clearly. Like, I was in school. When you're in school and they ask you what you want to be when you grow up. I told him I want to be a drug dealer, And
Straight up.
Straight up. I must have been 10 years old, because that's what I knew my dad as, right? So I wanted to be like him, because I always seen him with all the money. I didn't know about the addiction part.
Yeah.
I just knew he had a lot of money, and he had a lot of nice things, and that's what I wanted. But I didn't understand about the addiction part,
I think in life, when we do come off the porch, it's like we get off the porch with half the math. Like you said, we just see the bright lights. We just see the clothes, the girls, the cars. And nobody ever told us about this.
No, it's a mirage, right? It's a mirage. A mirage is when you're in the desert and then you think you see water.
Yeah.
Or you see a beautiful place with the water and the trees, but when you get close, there's nothing there. That's the same thing. That's the same thing as you looking at drug dealers, right?
No.
The fast all you see is the jewelry and the money, but you don't see that addiction part, or you don't see what that drug is doing to the people that you're selling it to, right? You don't see that pain and suffering.
Wow.
You don't even acknowledge that it causes pain.
That's a good point. Yeah, yes, you don't see it.
No, you just see that dollar sign.
It is a mirage. That's a good point, man. That was a good. That was good. Let me ask you a question. So now you're caught up in active addiction. Were you able to stop on the first time you tried?
No, never. I was addicted from a very long time. I mean, I'm talking about since I was 13.
Wow.
I remember, trying heroin for the first time. I tried heroin before I tried anything else. I thought it was cocaine, and I did a big old line. Right?
Done.
I was done, man. I was turned purple to like blue, and all I did was throw up all day. But that feeling, I would never forget. I didn't like it, but that feeling that it gave me after the throwing up was over with, that rush and that, it's hard to describe, but, so many people are addicted to heroin because of that first time, that first feeling.
Yeah.
And I would never forget that. And although I never touched heroin again till very later in my years. It was cocaine, sniffing cocaine, and then crack came. And I come from that time with crack cocaine where, okay, we used to look at the people that used to shoot dope and be like, yo, we ain't gonna get like that. We're not gonna touch dope and shoot dope because look at him or look at her.
Leaning.
Right.
Nodding.
So we knew the dangers of doing heroin, right? Cocaine was acceptable, was a pot, everybody was doing it, was cool and whatever. But when crack came, you didn't have that, don't do crack or you end up like that, right?
Yeah.
But there was nobody to point to, right? We became the people to point to.
Yeah.
Don't do crack, because that's what's gonna happen, right? So there wasn't that danger sign of doing crack.
At least in the physical, we couldn't see it. We experienced,
man.
That's crazy.
And then, that crack cocaine, man, is just like, I came in love with that. Like, it took everything I owned, bro.
It does.
It took everything,
Yeah.
And I'm selling just to support my habit at this time, Before I used to sell a lot of powder cocaine, and I had money, I had jewelry, I had all this good stuff, I had the money on supply, but when I did crack cocaine, I had nothing.
Yeah, no.
Nothing, man.
I can relate to that, relate with that. Yes, let me ask you, so when did you try your first detox or
Well, the funny thing is, I never been to a detox in my life.
Wow.
No. My detox was always prison. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. I really didn't understand about recovery or addiction or anything like that. I just thought, I didn't know you can stop using drugs and become successful, or I didn't know nobody who did that. Right? I just know people that used to get high and then you don't see them no more because they went to prison.
Or they died.
Yeah. Right. Or they died.
That's on the line of that. Because the way we grew up, and those consequences of prison, I mean, at least, let me speak for me, but if you grew up like me, then those consequences were acceptable. Like,
Yeah,
I knew, like, it wasn't no big deal.
No. You went to jail, you was like, oh, okay.
I'll get fat, come out.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that, it's true that back then, like, it wasn't hard to do time back then, man. No. I'm talking about, I did my first state bid in '88, just turning 18. And I remember now, it was nothing like it is now. I mean, I'm talking about going to a pre-release and getting PRAs and getting weekend passes to go home. That's not prison, man.
No.
That was, you can work and save up money and,
But today,
you don't even come out yourself.
You only come out 22 hours. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I remember when, I don't know if this happened with you, but, I never wanted to identify as an addict, you know what I mean? Even when I was, I had to, I knew that people were telling my story, but I'd be in jail and these people would come up and talk. Brothers would come up and talk about this, this and that, about the addiction. And I would just sit in the back, man, and talk junk about them, assassinate them, waste time. They're bums. I'll never be them. I remember a guy talked about eating out the garbage can. I was like, man, he's a sucker, right? And it never happened to me. Those things happened to me. I remember eating out the garbage can. I remember all that. Can you identify with that?
I identify it. We call them the not yets, or, you know what I mean? I haven't ate out of a garbage can, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
But no, I never identified as being a addict until I was 42 years old. I'm talking about 11 years ago.
What was your mind like? What was you physically like?
Like you said, that ain't me. I'm not, although I was homeless, I was always living, but I wasn't homeless because I was living with
somebody else.
Everybody that I went with, a girl, woman, always had their own place. So that's where I laid my head.
Yeah.
Or I'm always hustling, and when you're hustling, you can live in anybody's house. You give them a couple of hits, you can live and take over their house, right?
Yeah.
So
technically homeless.
I'm homeless, but I'm not homeless.
I'm not homeless.
Right?
You homeless. You can go miss a rope somewhere.
And I got fly. And this is how you tell you that as long as I can have fly sneakers on, I wasn't an addict.
I wasn't an addict.
Right?
Yeah.
I can be weighing 84 pounds.
Got to have new sneakers on.
But if I had new sneakers on, I wasn't an addict.
Yeah, man.
Knowing damn well if the wind blew too fast, I was gonna go with with it, right? That's how skinny I was.
Yeah. It's crazy. You speaking of the sneakers, right? I remember one time, right? You're 100% right. I had brought some new sneakers. I was on the run, and I was caught up really bad. I went to Lawrence. It was a snowstorm. It was a real crazy snowstorm. And I'm up in there, and I have a few dollars, and I'm thinking this money I'm just gonna use, and then they can put me to jail after when they catch me. But I need to use this money, and I'm in this hallway getting high, and ran through the stuff, man. And I remember selling those damn sneakers off from Jordans off my feet, and got like $18, and walked about a mile and a half in a snowstorm to get a hit, and knocked on the door. The guy said he didn't have no money. And I stood in the hallway crying. No, literally, I was like, that's when I think my breaking started. You know what I mean? The first time. What was it like for you? What was that point where you reached where you said, man, like not just, like really like, I'm tired of this, man.
It took me a very long time. I had plenty of days I'm tired of this, but when I really surrendered and gave myself a chance to get in recovery, I was homeless, paralyzed, in a wheelchair, homeless in the wintertime, breaking into hallways that had washing machine and dryers so I can just warm my clothes up and my socks, and sleeping in people's laundry mats and in the
laundry rooms, yeah.
Yeah, in the laundry rooms.
Wow. Yeah. How was it inside? What you think? I mean,
Oh man, like that feeling of like, what the F, man? Like I'm 40-something years old. I'm homeless. I don't have $1 in my name. I'm dope sick. I'm feeding for crack. I'm cold. I'm hungry. I'm tired. And I'm living in somebody's hallway, like. And it's not, that wasn't even enough, because I dry my stuff and go right back outside and look for another one. It wasn't until I got arrested and I was sitting in the house correction thinking about, what the hell was I doing? And, God works in mysterious ways, man. And I remember crying out to God, like, God, please help me. I'm cold. I need a place. And in my sick mind, in my addict thinking, God was going to, hey, let me find an ounce or something on the floor and get a hotel room and have a party, right? Yeah. But in all reality, he took my ass and put me in jail. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see jail as a blessing at the time, but that prison cell literally saved my life, man. 'Cause I was warm, I was eating, and I had the opportunity to clear my mind and start thinking rational, right? Okay. Started thinking about where I was at in my life and where I was headed. And I was only in there for a petty crime, right? Mm-hmm. And I was already in there for 3 months, and my lawyer said, Mike, I can get you out next court date. And I'm like, no. She was like, what do you mean no? I was like, out where? Where am I? I get out of here, where am I headed? I'm gonna be back on Main Street, no house, no income. Where am I gonna go? I said, no, I'm not going out. I want you to get me 2 years probation and mandated to a program. And she looked at me like I had two heads. Yeah. Like, you're gonna be in here for another 6 months at least. I was like, yeah, so? Yeah. Right? She couldn't understand the concept that
you was done.
I was
beat up, bro.
If they let me out, where? What? Wow. So they ended up giving me 2 years probation and stipulated me to a halfway house. And I never looked back from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's been a long time, huh?
Yeah, 11 years.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. Wow. So you just said, I'm going to stay in and...
I'm staying in.
No, I get it, man.
Stay in here, keep warm and keep fed, man. Like, I don't understand, I don't know if people understand, like, what it really truly means to be, caught up in the disease of addiction and be so tired of it, right? But you can't stop, man.
Can't stop. I know.
You don't want to be out there, but you can't stop.
That was
man.
me, Mike, man.
It's just that the brain of addiction really kidnaps your brain and your way of thinking, and it alters it. It's a proven fact. It's the brain disease. Mm-hmm. We know this today. It's a brain disease. Your brain is being kidnapped, and it's altering the way you think, man. Like, you will die of thirst and hunger for that next high, man.
Yes, you will. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, that's how it was. You explained it right. And I remember in the meetings, people used to always say they're used against their will. I just never understood that. Right. And until my last time getting high, I relapsed, and I just didn't. I was like, once I did, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I wanted to run back in. You know, like, I can't do it because I know, and I just couldn't. And so I understood that part. So yeah, so now. When I came to the center to visit the center, I wanted to. I was very. The energy was good. Mike is the director of Everyday Miracles Peer Recovery Center in Worcester. I'm sorry I didn't introduce that in the beginning, but he's the director. I used to go there before, but I went there about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago. So I went there to check it out. I came in. The energy was nice, you know. The atmosphere was more family atmosphere. We sat around, you know what I mean, just everybody, and that's what I remember those centers as when I started. I think I started 15 years ago, just going to those centers, and so how did that come? Like, I remember me and you had a conversation. You said, yeah, it just basically I just run myself. I do my thing, but I don't have to get on these people. And one thing I did like about there. It was when you had the meeting, the rules and way that person chaired that meeting and regulate was, was really, really nice. Everybody got to say what they needed to say at a timely fashion. Nobody took the meeting at hostage. So I was kind of tell me a little bit about your job and what happened. How'd you come to get that position?
Yeah.
I know that position you got it from a friend of ours left, but how you got that position, how you enjoyed it, and what do you do, Mike? Because there's a lot of people that talk good about you on your humble side, and so have their peers looking at you as like that.
Yeah. So you're talking about Everyday Miracles, which is a peer recovery center, and we're gonna go back now where I was tired and I was in prison and I said I want probation and I end up getting the probation and I end up getting stipulated, and I remember writing all these letters to halfway houses and they wouldn't take me, man. So now I'm like, whoa, did I make a mistake? They saying that, I'm a gang member, my Corey, all this, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't want none of that.
They didn't want nothing to do with me, right? He's too old, he's gonna disrupt the house or whatever the case. But one house.
All the drugs in that.
Yeah. So that's, we know that dude, but one house actually said yes and they took me in, man, and that was Dismas House.
Oh.
Yeah, so Dismas House is named after St. Dismas, who was the good thief that was on the cross when Jesus got crucified, and he said, "Please, Lord, don't forget about me. Take me." Yeah. So that's Dismas House, and that house, man, is literally my foundation. Where I started to build my foundation, I started learning about recovery. I started learning about myself. I started learning about responsibilities. I started learning about, character. It's all from Dismas House, man. Like, Dismas House, like, I owe them a million thanks, and I could never repay the debt that they gave me. The only way to pay them back is by showing them my gratitude and to bringing more people along with me on this journey. Because they had chores. They had chores. They had curfews. You had to sit.
Stuff that
yeah, right. And I'm like, wow, man. Like, not knowing, like, these chores and all this is building character. You had to be back at a certain time. You couldn't be out late at night. And I started like, wow, this is good for me, man. Because my ass don't need to be out in the streets at past 10 o'clock at night. What is out there for me? Like, right? Unless I'm getting in trouble, that's the only time I should be out there.
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night. So,
they had a lot of rules?
What they had
Oh,
rules.
base. I'm saying was a.
They had every house has the rules.
Yeah, but I'm saying-
some had, like some
Therapeutic.
houses. Yeah, some you can't even have a phone.
You can't,
Yeah,
right?
but this place you can have a phone, TV, cable, and all that.
They had all that.
Yeah, they fed you good. So they were like, but the main thing is that they just taught you about responsibilities, and
That is good.
so I needed that. And I heard about everyday miracles, and like addiction took my ability to walk. I had an epidural abscess on my spine, and I became paralyzed because of heroin.
What is that?
Epidural abscess is commonly, you'll find it in intravenous drug use.
Okay.
So it's like it's an abscess, but it's internal. You know how people get them big abscesses on their arms?
outside.
Oh, I had an abscess. It was in my spinal cord.
Okay.
And I was in prison. Make a long story short, I was in prison. They wouldn't take me to the hospital because they thought I wanted pain meds, and they said I was faking.
Wow.
And, yeah. And next thing you know, 11 days later, they're rushing me to the hospital. I'm dead, right?
Wow, sorry.
Yeah, so I ended up being in the hospital for a year. I had a trach. My lungs collapsed. You know, they waited, because they waited too long to take me to the hospital. The abscess grew and went around my spinal cord, so when they removed it, the spine is nothing to play with.
No, you can't play with that at all.
So the spinal cord was damaged in the process, and I lost my ability to walk.
Wow.
Yeah, they said I would never walk again. And, by the grace of God, I'm walking with a cane. But I'm in recovery 4 years. It came back, not from drug use, because it was dormant,
It can come back.
Yeah, then they didn't
take it all out.
take it all out.
Oh.
But before that, I was in Disman's house, and I used to walk to Everyday Miracles, man. I used to walk to meetings. So a lot of people see me today and they see me driving. They don't know the beginning story. Like, I had to be humble, man, and walk. In my condition, I used to walk to a meeting because that's what I needed to do. I used to walk to Everyday Miracles.
And you was in that situation, that condition you said.
Yeah, I used to walk, over a mile, right, to get to Everyday Miracles. Because at the time, I needed that environment. I started at Everyday Miracles as a member, and it's there. I just went there to play cards, right? Because that's where everybody went after a meeting.
Chill out.
Yeah, they go to Everyday Miracles to play cards, and that's what I did. But then, while playing cards, I would hear about all the other stuff they did. Like workshops and men's space and resume building, and they'll send you to class to become a recovery coach. And so I'm hearing all this playing cards. Next thing you know, I'm not playing cards no more. I'm sitting in groups, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm working at the front desk and I'm volunteering. And, bless her heart, Athena is sending me to a recovery coach, and I'm learning about addiction. And it sparked something in me, man. It just sparked something in me, like, my life ain't over yet, right?
Yeah.
So that just sparked something where I said, you know what, I'm gonna go back to school,
Wow.
Yeah, so I went back to school, and I went to Westfield State College and ag care, and I did a accelerated class. In 1 year, I got, I got my drug and alcohol addiction counseling certificate.
Yeah.
I took the state board and passed that state board. So, becoming somebody who's help other people like that has the same disease as me, right?
Wow.
But just knowing, because my whole life, man, I told myself I ain't gonna be no more than what I am right now, and that's on the block, strung out. I just told myself that because I heard it from everybody else. You're never gonna be anything. You're gonna be a junkie the rest of your life. You just, this is who you are.
Courts confirmed it the way they sentenced us.
The courts confirm it, and your family too, not knowing the damage that they do. You're gonna be just like your dad.
Yeah.
I heard that my entire life, right? Not knowing that them words hurt and it causes trauma.
That's trauma, yeah.
it causes trauma because they just don't know, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I thought I was going to be my whole life, was somebody that just came in and out of jail. And
jail the block.
That's
jail
it.
the block.
So,
Yeah,
and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But then when I got clarity and my mind was no longer foggy, you know, I started believing in myself. I started investing in myself, and I went back to school and, you know, got some degrees and stuff. And on the way, I learned about addiction, and I learned about how it is a disease, and it takes over your brain and stuff like that. And, you know, and it taught me about being humble, man, you know. And
that's one thing I like about you, you know what I mean? And that's not the only thing, but I'm just saying that's one thing I like about you.
And being grateful, man. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very humble, man. Like, man, from where we come from, you know, this pinch me, man, because this ain't supposed to be happening, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask you, I don't want to cut it off, but because I want to finish that story, Everyday Miracles, but I remember being there, and I saw your ring.
Yeah.
And I said, yo, you married, and you smiled. He's like, yeah. You know, so you happy?
I'm not, you know, I am.
Tell me a little bit about your wife and how she inspires you, because I'm telling you, what I saw when we were there, I said, like, you like, because you don't expect me. Like, yeah, man, this is good.
It's the best thing I ever came into my life, man. And I get teary-eyed talking about it because she truly is, you know, the best thing that happened to me, man. I love my wife. Oh, I love my wife so much, man. It makes me tear up because I love her. I love this woman. I love how she's my friend. She's my confidant. She's my biggest cheerleader. And the thing about it is that she accepted me knowing everything that I was, you know?
And she doesn't know anything? She's not in recovery?
No, she's not in recovery. She doesn't have that disease on her. And she doesn't know much about it, but because of me, she learned about it, and you know, and she accepted. And the stories, when I'm talking like this, and I tell about my stories, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's you," right? She just don't see it.
Yeah.
But that's just because she's just, you know, you talk about somebody who cares about life and cares about people, and you know, and she's been through her trauma, you know. Yeah. Unfortunately, she lost her brother, and then she lost her father. And once she lost her father, I came into her life. So, you know, and my birthday is like, used to be the day that, you know, her brother and stuff. So now it has a different meaning for her, you know. So she inspires you. You can't wait to get home. Yeah, man. Yeah, like, and you know, for me, you know, I was always selfish. It was all about me and what can the woman do for me, you know. And like you said before, like, you know, I was taught that being a man is how many women you can get, and a playboy, and you know, and that lifestyle. Just, you know, have a juggling woman, and you know, and I thought that was cool. Yeah. But
like you said, though, that was because we wanted to be irresponsible.
Right.
And somebody put it to me like this, and you know, I remember that I was locked up, and I used to write a bunch of girls, and I used to write girls out of the newspaper. Well, I didn't care where I wrote them from. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. How we are. So, and he's like, what's wrong with you, man? And I'm trying to get, you know, whatever. He says, when you're immature, it's about how many women you can get. But when you're mature, it's about how many you can stay away from. And I didn't understand all that. You know what I mean?
That's good.
But like you said, I remember that look you gave me when I asked you if you married, and you talked about your wife.
No, it's true. Like,
we don't expect that.
We don't expect that. I didn't expect, like, to be blessed like this.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, man, it's a beautiful thing, and I wish everybody can have what I have, because it's a beautiful thing, man. It doesn't matter what her past is. It doesn't matter what my past is. It's our life. It's our future, and that's all that matters to us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we building a good life for us. You know.
That's good stuff, man. No, I appreciate that. That's very good stuff. Now I want to get back to Everyday Miracles. That's very good stuff. You want, you can shout out to your wife and give her.
Love you, babe.
Yeah, there you go. So you're at Everyday Miracles, right? And you starting this transition. You starting to believe in yourself. you're starting to see that there is a way out, right? Because a lot, I kind of understand where you're coming from. Because we don't see a way out.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's in, like you said, even before the drug, it's something in disease in our.
And not only in our brain, man, it's just all these roadblocks that the government and the system puts in front of us. Like they don't give us the opportunity to come out of jail. They don't have no programs where we come out of jail, they get us on our feet, or they put us in a school and say learn a trade or anything like that. Like it's like your quarry is stopping you from living in a good neighborhood. Your quarry is stopping you from getting a good job. You know, God forbid you're on SSI and they're only giving you $800 a month and they suspect you to survive like that. So it's very easily, I see why individuals go back to that stinking, I call it, and be like, let me get a package and I can flip because I don't have no clothes or I have no food because all their money is going to rent.
Not even all of it. It's still old, right?
It's still old because it ain't enough. And they're disabled or whatever the case. Yeah. Or they get a job and it's still not enough to pay the rent. Like these jobs, even people that don't have the disease of addiction got to work 2-3 jobs just to make it ends meet, right? And that's the problem today, right? That we're not with the times where our paychecks ain't reflecting what we're giving out, man. After taxes and child support and whatever the case may be, you're lucky if you're left with enough money for the week to get the gas money to go back and forth to work, man. You know, so these are, and then put on a quarry on that, and what are you supposed to do? Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I remember being at your center a couple of years ago, and I don't want to mention her name, but she was talking about you guys were fighting to get the quarries. Yeah. Suppressing the quarries or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, we won that. Okay. They're not supposed to ask you if you've been convicted of a felony on applications for jobs, but they found other ways to get around that. Mm-hmm. They pulled up there's a back door where they can pull up your license record, your driving record, and everything on your driving record tells all your arrests and for what, you know? Wow. And now they're using your consumer reports. I don't know if you know this, people, their jobs and people, especially landlords, they're pulling up your consumer report. Because on your consumer report is everything, even your Facebook page, you know?
Oh, they're going on.
Oh, man. Yeah, so
got to be careful.
You got to be very careful, man.
And people be quitting crazy.
Yeah, and you know, and some like I know this one case where this girl used to be a stripper when she was younger, and now she's a grown woman, like 50, and she used to strip when she was like 20, and she went to go get an apartment, but they denied her, and she couldn't figure out why. And it's because they pulled up her consumer report, and
we want you around here doing nothing, no posts around here. Yeah.
So,
all right, so getting back to Everyday Miracles, you're there.
Yeah.
You're volunteering. You're believing in yourself. Yeah. You're in the middle of your transition. So what happens? What you're
so I'm in.
You're at school.
Yeah, I'm in school. You know, I had a little slip up where my epidural abscess came back 4 years later on my birthday.
And you was clean?
I was clean.
And still maintained clean?
Maintained it. I was clean, but it came back, and I had to get another operation, and I was in the hospital for only 3 months this time. Last time I was in for a year.
3 months?
Yeah, because the last time I was in for a whole year.
Yeah, a week in that
my body was done. I was all strung out, but this time I was healthy enough to get out in 3 months, walking.
Oh, so they had to like pull you back.
Yeah, but it happened on my birthday actually. Yeah, my birthday they rushed me to the hospital because I woke up one day and I couldn't move. Yeah. And
did they get it all out now?
Yeah, everything's out now.
100%.
Yeah, I have a gigantic scar. This time what they did was they left the wound open, so it would close from the inside out, so it would push anything left out.
Oh.
The first time they sewed it up. So they
left it in.
Left it in.
Yeah.
But then, so I had that little where I had to stay in the hospital, but I went right back to Everyday Miracles. Actually, they came up and visited me in the hospital.
The people
Yeah. Athena, Meg, you know, people that work there and the members. So that was cool. That
is cool, yeah.
Yeah, that gave, you know, the first time I was in the hospital for a year, nobody visited me. Nobody knew I was there until the end when they finally told my mom. But that's another story.
Oh, you never, okay. We don't have to go down there.
Yeah, so I was volunteering down at Everyday Miracles, and a job opportunity came up. And Athena, who was the director at the time, said, Mike, why don't you apply for the job? Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'll apply.
You wasn't scared nothing?
No, because you know.
At this time, you was good.
I was already in school. I graduated from school. I had my KDAC, you know, my certified alcohol and drug counseling. I was a recovery coach at this time already.
Yeah, so you already.
So I already, you know, I already knew about some things like 5 years in, right?
Good,
recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I applied, and bam, they denied me. Yeah, they denied me because of my Corey. They was like, nah, this
wow.
Yeah, and plus I was just off probation. It was like, he don't have enough time off probation. It was like,
dude, that happened to me with Spectrum.
Yeah.
And which they end up hiring me, but that's what happened to me in Spectrum. Yeah.
And you know.
The Corey,
the taste stung a little, right? But it didn't stop me. I was still going Everyday Miracles. Like, no, I didn't hold no. F this place. I'm not going back here.
That's what most people do.
Most people would do that, but not me. I was like, okay, I understand. That's your policy, and I stayed there and kept on going and volunteering. And then another year came, and a job opportunity opened up again, and I applied, and they gave me a chance.
Good.
Yeah, and I didn't look back. But I remember you know, like taking the bus to work, you know, in the winter and the ice, and you know, before I had my car and anything like that, because I didn't have my license, because I owed so much money with my license that I thought I'd never get a license. So, you know, I was one of them people that never had a license in their life, but I always drove, right? And then always got caught driving, and so they would just tack on more fines. And I'm like, I don't have to worry about that because I'll never have my license. I'll never be a respectable gentleman that needs a license. I'll drive.
Be a citizen, right?
Right? So you don't think, like, when we're out there ripping and running, we don't think about that. We don't think about the future. Tomorrow's not, we don't even care.
It's not even promised.
No.
Well, you're here 50, I'm 60. We don't even know we're going to live this long.
I didn't expect this, right? So when it was time to get my license, man, it was like, well, you got to pay this off. And I paid this off, and I had to take my permit and do the test and do the driving test like for the first time, and I remember when I passed it, I was psyched.
Yeah, I'm done here.
But the good thing is that, you know, I'm not using drugs no more, so now I have a bank account, and I'm saving money. And
you save a lot of money when
you save more money than you thought you had.
Yeah.
Because you don't spend it on drugs. You just don't realize how much money you go through when you're using drugs.
Everything. My money, your money,
anybody. And that's a lot of money.
It is. So you're the director, and
Yeah, so Athena left, and she said, you know, I feel comfortable that you should take over. You know, I owe that lady a lot, you know. I have much respect for Athena.
Good lady. Yeah.
I look up to Athena. I learned a lot from Athena. She's a great, you know, what I like about Athena is that
she teaches you.
She teaches you.
People don't understand.
She lifts you up, right?
Yeah.
She don't keep you down.
No.
She wants you to grow, and she wants you to share in the wealth. And
she's always teaching. Everywhere she goes.
She don't keep it to herself.
She don't keep it to herself. Every time you see her, you know, wherever she's at in the environment. To me and Katie used to talk about it, that. Yeah, like she comes in the center and she drops so many jewels. Yeah. Like you're like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's very well.
She does give it away.
So, you know,
good stuff.
She gave me that opportunity, and I didn't look back. And
I don't even need these guys.
Yeah. So I've been there. I've been the director going on 7 years, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's a career, right? Yeah. It's something I never thought I would have. It's a career. Like, you know, I have
criminal.
Right? and I don't even see my money these days because they all go to bills, but that's okay.
You living,
right? It's okay. I enjoy paying my bills.
Wow,
Yeah. I don't have much, but I have enough.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even want to say I have much. I have much.
Yeah.
I have, my cup is overflowing with much.
Yeah.
Because, you know, from homelessness to a homeowner,
Yeah.
you know.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I bought my house before I was even married, you know. And now me and my wife are looking for a bigger house because the house I bought was like a bachelor. I wasn't thinking about marriage. And having her move in, and the house is too small for us, so we're gonna get something bigger. But you know,
to be able to have that,
it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Like literally living outside, right, and talking about eating out of garbage, or not knowing when I was gonna eat again, right, and peeing and going number 2 behind trucks and vans outside because you don't got a place to go indoors, and not knowing when you're gonna shower, not caring if you showered, and
as long as you don't interrupt that next high, you
didn't care.
Or I'm gonna just do it right in the shower.
Yeah. You didn't want to, because you thought you were gonna miss something, right? Oh, I can't go. So, being a homeowner with this, it's like I pinch myself again. I have a beautiful home. I have a swimming pool in my house like I never imagined.
Yeah.
You know, these are all things that was out of reach, I thought, for me. And
but the funny thing about it is, Mike, that we get into this lifestyle thinking that is the way to get the Mercedes, get the house, get the clothes, and you get caught up and you lose it. And come to find out, the way to do it is this way.
And that's what I preach. I came into this lifestyle selling drugs because I wanted a house and a car, and I thought that was the only way I could get it. Not knowing that hard work is all it takes.
Yeah.
And I tell brothers today when I go to talk at schools or detoxes or whatever, that the amount of hard work that you put out in them streets and you don't maintain or achieve anything, you put half of that energy in working hard, and you'll see the blessings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Meaning that, you know, after a couple of years of hard work and keeping the same job, and then going and applying for a loan, you'll get it, man.
They got you.
Like it ain't
There's some consistency in your life, right?
That's it. And I tell brothers, like, you know, what I did is nothing special, man. What I did, everybody else can do. And I want them to do it. And I'll show you how I did it so you can do it too. Or you can do it a different way if you like. But I know my way worked for me. It might not work for you.
Yeah.
But it worked for me, and I can show you how I did it. And that is hard work, believing in myself, right? Waking up every day and being grateful and being humble, right? Maintaining a job, because that's important, because you gotta have a job.
Yeah.
Fixing your credit, if you, like me, and damaged it, because you put your name in everybody's
cable box,
and lights. Everybody's like, oh, you can use my name, sure, and not paying.
So let me stay here for a day.
So
or two.
fix up the, you know, but you know,
we paid a high price for low living, right?
High price. That's a good way to put it. A high price for low living.
Yeah.
Also, we love the ones that hated us, and we hated the ones that loved us.
Wow. Yeah. True.
You want to sell me poison? I love you. You're my boy. Yeah, here, take my watch, take my ring, take my TV. You're my boy. And still be like, you're my boy, you're my man. And he's over here selling you poison, but that's your man. And then you got your loved ones trying to tell you stop. You hate.
You're a hater.
Yeah, you're a hater. Leave me alone. I'm not hurting nobody. You know.
Yeah.
We love the ones that hate us, and we hate the ones that love us.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Let me ask you another question. So the peace, right? So we talk about all that stuff we got, but I see a lot of peace on you. Getting high is not peaceful. I mean, you don't have a moment of peace because you're either thinking about getting high. The next one, your mind never stops.
Yeah.
So now you have a time to reflect. What do you do to reflect? I mean, when you want to unwind, what do you do?
So self-care is big. I go to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to the gym when I can. I like to watch movies.
Yeah.
I like to spend time with my wife, and we don't, just a hectic time. Like she's always working, I'm always working. When we get off of work, we're both tired.
Yeah.
So the time that we do get to spend, I enjoy that.
You getting read any good books?
I haven't read, and that's sad because I used to love reading. I haven't read any good books in a long, long time. But I'm gonna stop reading because winter's coming, so I'll pick up a book. I'm gonna pick up a book. I didn't read your book yet, but yeah, I know. I want to.
Yeah. We'll get one to you. We'll get one to you.
Yeah, I want to because I heard it was real good.
Yeah. I think Peter told you that.
Yeah. But yeah. I had this kid from New Zealand, and me and him did a book too. My piece is very small, but he got published as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. Right?
Send it to me. I look at it. Take a look at it.
Yeah, it's called Halfway House or something like that.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll take a look at it. So now you're Everyday Miracles. You're maintaining a successful life. Is it hard?
I
mean, do you ever think about throwing it away? Not throwing it away.
Never.
I didn't mean to put it like that. Do you ever have thoughts that can take it away?
No.
Okay.
Getting high is the last thing in my mind. And going back to that lifestyle is the last thing in my mind. Hustling is the last thing in my mind.
You hustling already? You hustling?
I love my job because when they say when you love your job, it's not a job.
Why?
It's not work. What is tough, and I'll tell this, and what is tough is being in the field and seeing all the death that's surrounded with it.
Okay.
Meaning, I lost so many friends growing up to gang life. I lost so many friends, countless friends, to the disease of addiction. And I lost a lot of friends / members, clients, because of the disease of addiction, man.
You see it all the time.
I see this person one day in the center. Next thing I know, he's not there or she's not there no longer because she passed away. It's countless people that came through them doors that are no longer with us because they decided to go get one more. And that's tough. It almost becomes where humans, it shouldn't be like this, but it has come to the point where it doesn't affect you no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're so used to people dying that it doesn't affect you no more.
Yeah.
You become immune.
Yeah.
And that's tough in this line of work, that you become immune to death. So that's tough.
That's tough. So when you see it, I can imagine that because you're there, you got a center, you're the director of a center, and you're giving information, and
that's tough. And everybody, and I, my wife tells me to do it all the time, and I have a hard time, is leaving my job at the door. I'll get calls at 10 at night, 12 at night. Facebook messages, can you help my sister? Can you help my brother? I always want to jump and help, not knowing that I need to take a time out from work and have me time.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Hard because you know
right?
what it is.
It's hard, right? But also at the same time, like,
you can't save everybody.
I can't help nobody unless they want to help themselves. And
don't you hate the part that when you help somebody, not that you wouldn't, but when you help somebody and then they just go play with your help?
It's tough, but you have to just not take it personal.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to because, like,
it teaches us the stuff that we used to do to people.
Right, exactly. Like, because I know how long it took me to get it, right? Yeah. And there's folks to this day that I'd be like, damn, he was just here last week and got the detox and he was doing good. Now he's back again. Like 6-7 times in 1 month. And you can't stop. You have to send them that.
Because you never know when.
You just don't know that next time might be the one. And you have to learn not to take it personal because that is not yours, it's theirs, right?
Yeah.
You didn't do nothing. This, oh, I worked so hard to get you in. No.
You did what you're supposed to do.
You did what you're supposed to do, right? You can't take it personal. So no, it's just finding that balance. You got to find that balance, and I'm still working on that part. I have to find that balance of me time,
Yeah.
But like you said, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Because you feel it. So you've been there. So sometimes you might see a little bit of you in people, and you might want. And like if you're a person like you want for people to have, it's like, bro, there's a way out. Like, look, there's a way out.
Yeah, that's what I want. Come on, the door's open. Hurry up before it closes.
Before it closes on you. But like your wife said, man, you have to do you. And it is important to understand that we can't save everybody. We don't really save anybody. They save themselves.
We just played a little part.
Just maybe water a plant or something like
just that. And like I said this yesterday at our Thanksgiving gratitude meeting, that I come to work where I get to see individuals transform. Where they once was holding a stem, now they're holding their grandchildren or their child. And that's a beautiful thing to see that. Like, I see them at their worst, and now I see them at their best. And they're starting to realize that, oh, I got this. And that's a beautiful feeling. That's my rewards. Like, that's my paycheck, It's not, that's my paycheck when I see individuals finding who they are supposed to be and becoming that person. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Getting their families back. That's great. All right, bro. If you have any last questions, any last things you might want to say, to give somebody some hope or whatever it is. The camera's yours right there, bro.
So we're located in Worcester, Mass., 25 Pleasant Street. It's called Everyday Miracles. It's a peer-to-peer recovery support center. We embrace all pathways to recovery. So come down if you know someone who's struggling. Please look up a recovery center and give us a call. We're there to help and assist people in their recovery. And the only advice I got is that, don't beat yourself up. You can't change what happened yesterday, or you can't change what happened an hour ago, but you can change how your future becomes. So.
Thank you, Mike, man. I appreciate you coming, man. Yeah. Congratulations on your successful living, man.
Yes.
Your humbleness, man. I remember you out there, bro, and we were running crazy. And to see it, another one I was telling Katie, my wife, I was telling her that, man, he used to be like, she's like, I said, no, he used to be crazy, right? And I said, because I had visited you and I came back, and this is, just humble. Keep that. Yeah. And being a sign of hope and for people, man. And you're a sign of, you give me motivation. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that a lot.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? And anytime you want to come back, anytime if you have anybody that you can send them through, I can take your word. They can we can do a show. Yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for showing love again, coming to watching this show. I want to give a special shout out to Leaving the Streets Ministry, Jesus and Wander out there in Haverhill working with the kids, doing their thing. I want to give another shout out to Yard Time Entertainment, my man Joseph Bennett, aka Toot, out there doing his thing in Boston with the kids, and anybody else that's on the front lines in this fight against the disease. If you're on the front line on the criminal justice issues, or if you're just helping the kids, anything like that, man, I want to give a shout out to you. And as I always do, I want to give a shout out to my children, Taisha, Darryl, and Zayla. I love you. Peace. Happy Thanksgiving.